First brush with the judgment is like meeting your girlfriend for the first time. Go prepared for a bad result and go prepared for a good performance. Allowance must be given to the young lawyer. He's not charging too much money. See, look, it depends on what stage you are. See, when you are very young, you have been sent a brief by somebody. That lawyer would usually not want you to say, the brief is not going to yield fruit, please don't file. We all faced that. But my view still is that if you are fair to the client, if you've given him an idea, at the end of the day, the client will go back more satisfied. The interaction with the client on the evaluation of the case, I still believe, has to be as fair as possible. Of course, allowance must be given to the young lawyer. He's not charging too much money to build a little more rosy picture, be a little optimistic. Even otherwise, young people are more optimistic than the older people are. But to that extent only. See, I have always believed that fairness to your client makes you better human beings, better lawyers in the end. And this will be connected with another issue. When you read a case, when I went to the best of lawyers, they would say, yeah, what is this? This won't sell. I would think, what is he doing? He's starting from the worst point. That is what advocacy is about. When you are dealing with a problem and you've started from the bottom line, you will be in a much better position to deal with it, to tackle with it. So I blend it with that interaction with the client and say, the lawyer's first job is to very critically look at the brief, which is landed at his door. That will help him handle it. That also might help him in doing very well and excelling sometimes, because he knows where the problem. You have left nothing for me to answer. Actually, it is when the record is big. Notes are very, very helpful. A case in this court has to be argued 10 times, even in bail matters. First time it takes long, but then you can revise even a big case in half an hour. In murder cases, where I've spent days together, I look at my notes shows, and those notes, I'm learning every day. If you compare my notes, I change them every day. And I again find a way to make better notes. So what you have said is, there might be 10 pages. Some would be dealing with the base material. The argument note would be one page. But your first question is very ticklish. I am as half-hearted as you are before a judge who is not relief giving. But what I've learned is, from your office, go prepared for a bad result and go prepared for a good performance. I've seen, don't be emotional. Keep putting, repeating. Sometimes you come out and you're surprised, you've got the relief. So even if it is 1 out of 10 times, you have not only got it, you have improved the judge also. The toughest of judges become better judges because some of us argue, some of us persist, some of us put their point across. And the judges change over time. I've seen that happen. That is where our role comes. In fact, I've been asking everybody at the bench also, please start hearing criminal appeals, because when we learned, the first lawyers we watched argue were the senior most lawyers in the appellate courts. And the judges, not only hearing them, judges opening their eyes wide to see. Then we somehow got division bench appeals. People came to hear us. That trend has disappeared. The court is inundated by arrears. There are no final hearings. That, to my mind, is causing a huge loss to the training which the lawyers would get in the court usually. Mr. Mela, the answer is a little difficult. You see, when you are, my very light way of putting it is, your first brush with the judgment is like meeting your girlfriend for the first time. Your mind is most receptive that day. You pick up facts very fast and do not waste that advantage. Therefore, when you mark them, when you draw your points, I have seen that some of the points would be forgotten by you and probably never return. That's one part where I believe we must read the judgment. And when we read it like that, we must not spill away what we have gained. Second is, while you are drafting a petition, you know you will have to apply bail for A, B, C. You also know what your grounds are. And you also know which part of the evidence is. So therefore, it will be a relative question. You are dealing with an appeal where you have to file a suspension application, see that your grounds are reasonably detailed, incorporating that.
Any more questions, sir, please?
Sir, I got to know that you are postgraduate.
Sir, would you come forward a little?
Sir, I got to know that you are postgraduate in economic services. Does this really help you in litigation process?
मेरे को नहीं समझ आया.
Sir, he said that he got to know that you are a postgraduate in economics. So does that degree help you?
Yes, certainly that. Not only degree, I am opening a secret. I know very little law. I know sociology more. I read anthropology. I'm a student of literature in many languages. Law is one of my lower side achievements in reading. My one advice to all of you is please read. Please spare some time for reading. For two reasons. In fact, it is reading, it is gaining knowledge, which helps. For economics, let me tell you, I went to deal with the cases of coal block allocation. They were technical. They were all dealing with very mighty companies incorporated under the Companies Act. They were group companies. It was only my understanding and my association with my economics in academics which helped me. Then when I came to this court, or I deal with a case of embezzlement, I deal with cases of economic offenses, that becomes very helpful. In fact, any knowledge, I don't have time today, but I've won big cases in appeals by quoting short stories from a French story writer, Maupassant. Anything might come handy to you when you are dealing with a situation. Therefore, please make it a point to read. And read newspapers, read little fiction, read serious things. That also will save other people from listening to sometimes what we would avoid saying and enrich us.